exhausted. That was quite the journey, quite the ride on the Ducati. This thing is just absolutely just bonkers. It's just like a angry Italian stallion. This is a bike you need to respect at all points in time, because it can and has the ability to rip your face off. Just with the amount of torque and just the raw, unbridled power. This thing is good for 215 horse at 13,000 RPM. The thing is bonkers.
Comes 215 out the box?
Out the box.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's 1100.
Okay.
1100.
4 cilindri, 1100 litri, desmosedici stradale motore. In English, that roughly translates to holy, it is fast.
Motore, yeah, you guys. I say unbridled, but the electronics do a great job of keeping the bike stable and planted, keeping that front wheel down.
You have 215 fire-breathing Italian horses underneath your legs. You're gonna need some help keeping that front wheel down. Everything is adjustable from my little select buttons here. ABS, wheelie control, slide control, traction control. Everything is adjustable on the fly. You have preset modes. I'll throw some B-roll in here. You got preset modes that you can actually adjust to your liking, which is phenomenal. You need that.
How does it feel from a comfort level? Like
it
just
is
if you're
very
just
comfortable.
around
It's a very comfortable bike. For a sport bike, let's just remember we're talking sport bikes, right? It's a very comfortable bike. Again, I'm stressing it on my vlog and everything, and I'll stress it again. You buy a bike, get your suspension tuned. Get preload right, particularly rear preload. Get your preload right. Get your front shaft. Get it all dialed in for your weight, and then get it dialed in for your ability. You have to, and that will actually help. That will more than help the rideability of any bike and the comfortability of any bike.
Here's my little stretch of road where I talk about the suspension. Up in the front, we have Showa big piston front forks. In the back, we have a Sachs rear spring. Want to remind everybody that this is a base model. It does not have the Öhlins full suite electronic suspension. Does not have that. The suspension is pretty good for just about everybody, I think, but the most important thing is you got to get it tuned. Get this thing tuned, get it right for your weight, get the preload right for your weight, and then get it tuned for your ability. It's just going to make a world of a difference for the bike, or any bike for that matter.
When I was looking for my track bike, right, and you were saying 600, go 600, and something in my European genetics told me that a Ducati had to be
in the arsenal. It had to be part of the arsenal. It had to be part of the arsenal. You're like growing quite the arsenal here, let me tell you. You and this bike are just like almost one and the same.
We're peas in a pod.
Yeah, this is definitely a U bike for sure. The color's great. I mean, out of all the bikes we had talked about, this definitely had the best looks. Like, I mean, by far, Ducati.
It's a gorgeous
cleanest
bike.
lines, best color. Like, look at that. There's nothing to it. All red, beautiful, little bit of letters.
Clean,
just
gorgeous.
Smooth, red, all the right lines. I mean, this thing has beautiful lines. Out of all the bikes.
Right. The looks were one thing, right? Because this is the kind of bike where you could just go into town, right? Go to a restaurant, just straight up swag, just drip. I just feel so at home when I'm on this bike. You know, we took it to the track, right? We went up to Loudon, New Hampshire, and then most recently I took it to Palmer. In Palmer, I had an absolute blast on this thing. Conditions were great, and I was hustling through the corners. It was great. And body position, I was so comfortable dragging me and hanging off this bike. It's just, plus I got the suspension tuned by CompuTrack, remember? CompuTrack Boston. They tuned the suspension, right? And it just made a world of a difference. And I had all the confidence in the world going into turns. And then, you know, it's geared so tall. I'm in second gear all day.
Oh
and
yeah, that track.
And it's got this thing has so much low. It has a lot of low end, and so it grunts through. So you just, you know, you can just let it ride in two, and it just has all that grunt.
Dude, I'll tell you this: when we were at Loudon, and I got a 750, and I usually hang with a lot of the 1000. I get, you know, don't get me wrong, you'll get out of them pretty quickly, but I could not, for the life of me, like every turn you were just like, well, there he goes. Like it was just like I was standing still almost. I was like, man, I'm like. That thing is really fast. That thing is absurdly fast. It comes out of the corners very hard.
It does.
Like, I can see it. I can, like I haven't gotten to ride it yet, but I can visibly see it just.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, that thing is next level.
Those Brembo brakes,
dude,
man.
you were braking super late. I told you when we got off the track, I was like, dude, you're like way into the turn before you start braking. It's crazy.
Again. This is just me trail braking on this thing, tipping in. It's just like it's so natural. And I was very fast at Palmer. I was super fast off turn one. This bike is not for everyone. There are people that don't like Ducatis. There are dudes at the track that don't like Ducatis. You know, its characteristics, its mannerisms. There is a certain way to ride this bike, particularly at low speeds and at the track. This is a violent bike. Again, I'm going to repeat that. It is violent. You feel it's like the motor's like, you know, you feel it's just every single thing of it.
I mean, I've only gone it with the parking lot, took it around the parking lot. Low speeds is not where it wants to be.
No, it's not.
I was just putting around and man, this thing it wants all the throttle. Like it just feels like it just wants to be above $6,000 at all times. Yeah.
This thing
is crazy hard. It's so hard to ride at slow speeds. It's the
firing order and it's the firing of the pistons, right? Yeah. It has the characteristics of the twin, right? The firing or the injectors, the way they set it up. It's like basically riding on two twins. So they're lumpy. So until you go past 8,000-9,000, and that thing is just like you hear it scream. You heard it scream out in the straight.
All right, we're gonna turn here and give it the business. So first gear, give it a little rip.
I said to myself, what's a whiskey that is just waiting to make you its, you know what, female dog? You have to have a healthy respect for this bike, right? And you know, because of its raw power and potential. And, you know, I've tried to find a whiskey to kind of match that. Something very passionate, fiery, hot, right? Some spice. Because this thing runs so hot. Oh, if you're hanging out and you're stuck in traffic, it is gonna burn everything. There's a bank of cylinders. Right underneath. Where your crotch is. I went for Booker's. Booker's is part of the Jim Beam line of small batch. You got Basil Hayden's, Booker's, Baker's. So Booker's, there are multiple iterations of Booker's. They have these kind of releases, and this particular release it's called the kitchen table. Everything in the kitchen table. Bottled for 2018. It is a very wild bourbon. Very wild, a lot of things going on. Overly ripe vanilla. At least I get like a very heavy vanilla note for some dumb reason. Cherry, like hot cherry. Got the wood spice. Caramel and a little toffee last time I checked, but I haven't had this in a while, so we'll give it a nose. You can even feel...
I can smell the vanilla.
Yeah. You can even feel the alcohol. You can even smell there is, like I said, when I thought about pairing it, this was it. So let's give it a sip and then... bottle.
That is strong. Correct on making it your...
Oh,
that is strong.
it's angry.
Oh yeah.
It's an angry, but cherry. It's passionate. I haven't had a cask strength whiskey in a long time. This is my welcome back to
holy
cask strength whiskey. It is. Yeah.
Hits you in your
And
chest.
but mind you, this is our. Remember we were talking about
Yeah.
like times and when we drink whiskey and when whiskeys are different. This is our first sip of alcohol for the day.
Yeah.
Right. So it's going to be more magnified.
Mm-hmm.
As we sip this and talk about it as we sip it, it will subside, right? You'll kind of get used to it. Your body gets, your senses get used to ethanol and stuff like that. So, this is a hell of a bourbon.
60 what?
64% alcohol.
This is strong.
Yeah.
This is really strong.
It's strong, it's angry, but it tastes good. It's got a lot of stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like this bike.
And that second shot was better. It was easier.
God damn, dude, that's 64. We've had this discussion before. You sip this thing. You don't rip shots of it.
That was two. That was 2 drinks.
Dude.
I feel good off the second one.
Well, no shit.
The first one hit hard. The second one felt a lot better.
We'll do this.
You could just restart it.
No, it's fine. Ah!
Okay,
Yeah.
so then tell me about bourbon. Break down what makes a bourbon.
Yep. So, bourbon is as classified by us, by the U.S. government, right, is a spirit distilled in the United States whose mash bill, I'll go into mash bill in a second, is comprised of 51% corn or more, everything else being a cereal grain, wheat, rye, barley, aged in a new charred American oak barrel. It's a very big, important one. There are other rules for distillation, but I mean, who cares if you want to go real nerdy on it? Yeah, hit me up. Just go Google it. It's easy. There are other rules and such that govern sort of what can be called a straight bourbon, what's a Kentucky straight bourbon, and the like.
So, American charred oak, right?
Yep.
And then 51% corn.
Yep. New charred American oak. Yep.
New charred American oak. I gotta remember that.
So mash bill. When I say mash bill, that's just the grains that they use to distill.
Well, so wait, how do you get the vanilla or like the?
That's from the barrel.
Oh.
So when you toast the barrel, what happens when you toast sugar? What do you get?
When you toast sugar.
Caramel.
Caramel.
Right? What about, so wood has sugar in it. So when
Yep.
you toast it and you burn it,
Yep.
you get caramel. Another offshoot is like get that vanilla. That so it is an actual thing when you toast it, and then it sits in the barrel, contracts, right? Contracts in the winter. In the summer, the fibers get very porous, seeps in. So like think of it this way: it expands and contracts as a barrel. So I put something in, I put my bourbon in, it hangs out. Hot summers, it's a hot summer. The barrel's actually going to suck in some of the whiskey, and then in the winter when it gets cooler, it compresses it out. And then the guys at the rick house, the storage house, will turn the barrels. That's to constantly keep, that maximize surface area, so that come in, come out, come in, come out, and that's hence why you get the wood, right? That wood note, the wood spice, the caramel, the the toffee caramel type of thing.
3 hours later.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time cards.
Well, cheers. Can't do too much cask strength whiskey, otherwise we'll get a little too messed up. And so these videos are unofficially powered by Superbock. Such a good beer. Thanks again for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. We're getting a little better. I think we're getting the cinematography in, and Dallas was helping us out as well, right? You were filming.
He was in.
So if you enjoyed it, leave me a like, subscribe. I need 100 subscribers, guys. It's such a struggle. We're gonna have a standalone my BMW S1000 RR review. So it's gonna be another fun one. We'll be doing a track battle, literally a track battle. It's gonna be fun. The BMW and the Ducati. We're gonna swap off back and forth. So that one's gonna be really exciting. I'm looking forward to that one. So yeah, thanks a lot, and hope to see you soon on the next one.
Cheers.
Some good stuff.